name's Joel.
And my name's Luke.
And today we will be comparing the Honda CRF125F
And the KTM 65.
projects such as Practicality,
Max speed,
noise,
power,
and a few more we decide to add in along the way. Stay tuned and enjoy the video. These are just our opinions, and if you disagree,
it's fine.
That's fine.
It's fine, yeah.
But let's get on with the review. Okay, so the first topic we will be discussing is the practicality topic. After each topic we discuss, there'll be a little table on the screen which shows you which one gets each point for each thing. Does that make sense? So let's get straight into it. So Luke is going to be talking mostly about the KTM 65 and I'll be talking mostly about the Honda CRF125F, as that is the bike I ride and the KTM is Luke's bike.
My bike, yes.
So Luke, do you want to start with the practicality of the KTM 65?
Yes. So the KTM 65 is a very impractical bike because it's very hard to start, leaks oil all the time, you have to put it really straight up, otherwise petrol leaks out or something, and it also stalls easily. It's quite hard to use, but it's awesome still.
Now, my bike is the complete opposite, the Honda CRF125F, and as Luke said, his is hard to start and it's got no stand. That kind of thing doesn't make the KTM practical, but mine's got everything that makes it practical. It has a kickstand, but you don't have to use it. It's got an electronic start switch. It's got a stand, obviously. You don't have to put it upright. It's a perfect bike. You just get on, turn it on, go up into first gear, and away you go.
I forgot to say, KTM also doesn't have a stand.
Yeah. You've got to lean it against something. That's why we film in here, because then you can lean it against the caravan.
You can't really lean it, you have to put it straight upright.
Discuss what we are going to call revving power. I'll leave Luke once again to talk about the KTM 65 first of all.
But first I'm going to explain what revving power is really. So it's how much you rev for the speed you get easily. It doesn't take a while to speed up. It's really nippy basically. And so the KTM is amazing at this because instantly you're getting so close to max speed. You're going really quickly, really fast in first gear. You're just you don't have to put it much at all, it just goes.
Point to the KTM for power, as I think KTM always have their power and speed in mind when they design their bikes, and not quite the practicality of the bike. But with Honda, it's quite the opposite. They do obviously think about the speed because that is what most people look for in a motorbike, but also it's just they make it more practical. But with the revving power of the Honda CRF125F, it's definitely a lot, can we say slower than, less powerful, more sluggish than the KTM. For example, Luke would probably, if we did a drag race, Luke would probably be way ahead straight away, and I'd be there trying to up to him. And sound effects. But yeah, you can basically understand what I'm trying to say. So the point for the revving power, it goes to the KTM 65.
Yeah.
Now we're going to be discussing noise, and these two are quite the opposite once again when it comes to noise. Once again, I'll give Luke his turn to talk about the KTM 65.
So the KTM 65 is a two-stroke engine, which means
It was annoying. I wanted to. Oh, I'm sorry. I tried to do it quietly.
That means it's a lot. Okay. That means it's got a bit more power for its weight, and it's quite a lot louder, so it's skipping them faster or something. This is the sound of the KTM 65.
Not that.
Not that. Sorry about my hair and everything. It's just very hot up here.
I'll be talking about the Honda CRF125F. Sorry about that.
Was scary.
The CRF125 is definitely quite the opposite. For example, when I'm revving, it's definitely a lot quieter, and when you're listening to revving footage or of us far away, when we're driving together, you can hear Luke's bike and you can barely hear mine. So, you know, you can probably just tell by that clip which one is the noisiest. So Luke's KTM obviously is very loud, but ignore background noise by the way. It is not the bikes, it's someone power washing. We're going to just test out the noise this one.
So it's quite loud, but it's not like really high pitch.
It's definitely not as loud as the KTM, but that's it. So the next topic we will be discussing is max speed. We've just looked up some stats on the internet and we're going to tell you them stats right now. So Luke, do you want to go into the top speed of the KTM 65?
So the top speed the internet says is 62 miles per hour.
And the max speed for the Honda CRF125F is 65 miles an hour, just 3 miles an hour more than the KTM 65. Although the Honda doesn't really ever get up to that top speed, at least not in the amount of land that we are riding on. So yeah, if we were on a long track, maybe we would be able to get that top speed, maybe we would be able to compare. But because our field isn't long enough to test this actual speed range, we will just do a little quick drag race. So we're going to call it a drag race right now between the Honda CRF 125F and the KTM 65.
So I think I might have a bit of an advantage with this because, you know, it's way more nippy, isn't it?
Yep, straight up. I have a feeling I'm going to lose and I'll be there. And then whoever wins the drag race will get the point for...
You know what I think? I think my thing's going to stall.
If it does, we'll redo it.
Yeah, we'll have to
but,
try like 5 times.
The final topic we'll be discussing is suspension. Now, when you first look at the bike, it does look like the Honda has more suspension. But apparently Luke has got an argument against that.
Yes, because the suspension is so long on the KTM. Come see.
Look at it. Massive. Massive. And massive. Good.
And because the suspension's like it's not I don't know if it is longer than Joel's, but it reacts more than Joel's.
Yeah, what he's trying to say is that he can barely feel the bumps. Is that what you mean?
Yes, I can barely feel the bumps, and it reacts.
On the Honda, you can kind of feel the bumps. I mean, it can get quite painful. I have fallen down some holes before and felt like my arms are going to break because the suspension can't quite deal with massive bumps. But I don't know, maybe it's just our field.
Another reason is that the Honda 125 is made for bigger people, like older
Adults.
Yes.
And his bike is definitely made more for racing, isn't it?
Yeah.
There we are. So final thoughts. What do we think? Which bike do we think's better? Alright, let's think our final thoughts. I personally think it's tough to compare them because they are very different bikes. In my opinion, I'd probably say the Honda's bike. Honda's better. I don't really like the KTM. I don't really like the way it rides. Yeah, exactly that. But Luke loves the KTM and doesn't really like Hondas that much, do you? I mean, he doesn't like Hondas, but he's more of a KTM fan. Yeah. So I think Honda are doing the right thing, and so are KTM. They just have different thoughts when they're making their bike. Do you reckon that?
Yeah, so if you want to like have fun and still go like crazy, but not too risky, that is a perfect bike.
And if you want to buy a very good bike, like that's going to be reliable and is really easy to start and really just you get on and ride Honda, Honda, to be honest.
If you want to mess around and go so fast, like.
Yeah, do some jumps, do some stunts on like tracks, which will probably be open after the Skyrush. Then the KTM.
Yes, KTM will be better.
Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm Joel.
I'm Luke.
And this has been Don't Stop Revving. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.